Hey, what's going on, everybody? In this video, we're talking about bottlenecks for NBA Top Shot. So, challenges are back for the NBA season. I forgot, honestly, how much fun these challenges were to track, even though it was a really easy and somewhat predictable challenge that was going down last night. You could see Jason Tatum is the challenge reward here, and he had to burn his moment. So almost 4,000 already burned. Well over 7,000 people have completed the challenge. Might get to over 10,000. So I was pretty stoked on the challenge. It's what I talked about in a lot of my previous videos, where you basically burn a couple moments and collect a few as well. So I thought that was awesome. Again, we have a really sick upcoming challenges for a Zion who doesn't have that many moments on the platform compared to a lot of other stars. So I think this one's going to be really sought after. You need 14 moments though, and the first two are going to be pretty easy to burn. Leading score from any team. These ones could be hard. First point scored in 12 games. So this is where the massive bottlenecks come into play. So I'm going to give you guys some of my favorite bottlenecks also for members of the channel. I'm going to be putting together these in a spreadsheet. I really appreciate you guys for joining the channel membership and staying members through the tough times of Top Shot and all day. And there hasn't been a lot to make spreadsheets on, but now we're back and gonna start pumping those out. So if you guys just want to support the channel, just click the join button right here below the video, and for just 79 cents for the first month you could support the channel and get badges and emojis, or for the spreadsheets just $3.99 for the first month, $5 after that, for all the spreadsheets that I'm going to be putting out. So appreciate you guys for that. Also, before we get into this one, if you didn't check out my last video, that'll be linked at the top of the description. Also, the end card of this video on So Rare NBA versus Top Shot. They're very different. So Rare is more of a fantasy game. Definitely check that one out. It's free to play. You get 20 card NFTs to play with. 63,000 people entered just this one contest. Come in the top 1,000, you get one of these moments that are selling for like $10 for the worst one right now. So you could just get in there, play for free. You could use my affiliate code and you get all those free cards. And also you get a free limited card, which is the next level if you buy 5 other limited cards, and you could play in bigger contests as well. All right, so now let's get into these bottlenecks. So for me, we're talking about common bottlenecks right now because I feel like most of these challenges, at least at first, are going to be revolving around common bottlenecks, and it's more common for them to do that, no pun intended, but then rares or legendary bottlenecks, or even like S1 bottlenecks, S2 bottlenecks, even though I'm going to start tracking those as well. So you could see what I was doing last year for members of the channel for playoff bottlenecks. I was tracking players that were still in the, I think this is probably the last 4 teams, maybe the last 8 teams that we got down to that had under 100K in circulation. And a lot of these guys hit. In red are the ones that hit. I think I honestly deleted a lot of them as well. And these players all bottleneck. So the prices of their lowest moment like went double in price, maybe even triple, quadruple. I know Paul Reed, his went like to like $40 or something. And it's probably $5 now. So still viable bottlenecks for a lot of these guys, but I was tracking this, and I'm going to put out something similar to this. Down the line, I'm going to get more into other bottlenecks. So there are rare bottlenecks, players that have rares but under 1K mint count. So even guys like Jalen Brunson still has less than 1,000. Jordan Poole and some other players, and Kleber actually hit in the playoffs last year. And then S1 bottlenecks as well. There's some guys, even Draymond Green has less than 2,000 S1 moments. So if he hits in a challenge, he would bottleneck. There's S2 bottlenecks, Top Shot debut bottlenecks. So there's a lot to cover, but for this one, just going to go over the common, and a lot of these are relevant to this challenge that we have for Zion right now. So the players that could bottleneck the most are going to be these ones that only have 4K moments, and I have a list here of about 15 players that either start or actually get big minutes and only have a 4K moment. I'm not going to cover all of them, but I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite in this one here. So the first one is Jeremiah Robinson Earl, who actually starts for the Thunder. His moment's all the way up to $55. So these get pretty expensive, especially because people are realizing that they're bottlenecks. And the crazy thing about this one as well is there's still 900 hidden in packs. So this one's about 77%, I think, in circulation, which is pretty uncommon for a lot of these. But this one could bottleneck insanely hard. So basically, there could only be 2,999 completions on a challenge, but a lot of people probably own more than one of this. A lot of people probably aren't going to sell even if the challenge comes up. So I would think if he's in a flash challenge, the mint count could be less than 1,000. So you're essentially getting a rare for the challenge. So people would be willing to pay. I mean, if it was a rare Zion, how much would they be willing to pay for a bottleneck like this? Right now, there's only 93 for sale. So if people wanted to buy into this, only 93 people right now could buy into it. So this would massively bottleneck these challenges. Some other good ones that I really like are Joshua Primo. His is all the way up to $79. I mean, he is a set bottleneck as well, but if he hits in a challenge, these ones are going to go way up. And Primo might start, but I think who the starter on the Spurs is Trey Jones, and he's in the same situation. His is just at 4,000. So if he scores the first point, this challenge is immediately going to go crazy, which is what makes flash challenges so crazy. I mean, this one for a Zion rare, if he scores the first point in the game tonight, this one could go to like $200. I mean, let's just take a look real quick at Zion rares, see what they're going for on the market right now. The lowest one out of just 2,021, which is actually kind of a lot, is $123. I would expect the mint count to be, if a 4K player hit, around 1,000, which could make this one worth like $150. And also you're looking at a good chance to hit a pretty good serial on it as well and make it worth even more. So a few more I like. We don't exactly know the starting lineups yet, but Trey Mann could very well be in the starting lineup. He's got just over 4,000 moments. Another guy who could be starting is Jalen Smith. This one's $93 though, for the Indiana Pacers. So I have like 8 or so more of these of good players that play a lot of minutes that I'll put in the spreadsheet when I put that out later today. Probably haven't put it all together yet. So really the next tier of bottleneck moments is players that just have a 12K moment, because we're not counting like archive players as bottlenecks really because they're not in the league anymore, but they are out of a little less than 12K. But really the next tier is going to be these 12K moments. So we still have some players that are pretty good in that situation, and Wesley Matthews is one. Not sure if he's starting, but if no 4K rookies hit, these 12Ks are probably going to be the next bottleneck. And Matthews, if he starts and somehow scores the first point, I mean, he has a pretty good chance. This one would probably go from $5 up to $40, $50. Not sure. It could go really high. So this one is a good one. As far as other starters, I think that Gabe Vincent will start as well. This one is $7. Same thing, could go to 30 or 40 pretty easily. And kind of a sleeper one here, I think KZ Okpala actually starts for the Kings, and this one's just $5. Another one here is Cam Thomas. I believe he's actually going to start for the Nets without Joe Harris, and they're missing someone else tonight. So another possibility here. I have a few others in there as well. A lot of these guys, I think, start. O'Shea Brissett, I guess he has a squad goals now as well, which I forgot about. But still, this one could hit pretty hard. Kendrick Williams, I'm not sure if he's starting either, but another option as well. So then after that, we actually have a list of players that are more likely to hit. And that's some really good rookies that don't have that many moments. So like Cade Cunningham, he only has 14,000 total moments if you add all of these up here, which is just over that 12K mark. And his price is already 82 for his highest minted moment. So this one would go even a lot higher, I would say, if he does hit in a challenge and is the bottleneck. The next is just going to be Evan Mobley. He has, 18,000 moments. I already added him up, and his are just 42 right now for his two lowest ones. I mean, this Rising Stars Series 3 set, I completed the set, but I didn't lock it for whatever one blended pack or whatever, because I know a lot of these guys are bottleneck opportunities here. And most of these guys that are rookies in here are pretty big bottlenecks and play a good amount. Kuminga doesn't play that much, but he could be a bottleneck. But then you're looking at Jalen Suggs, who when healthy is probably starting. Duarte is probably starting. Jalen Green actually isn't that good of a bottleneck because he does have that one moment that's minted out of like 50,000. But all these other guys are like in the 20,000 range or less. Bones Highland only has 22,000 moments. Sangoon has 24. Mitchell 22. Wagner I think has 22. And then even some really good rookies like Scotty Barnes has 22,000 as well. So these could be bottlenecks even tonight if none of those players with only 4K moments or the 12K guys hit. This is basically the next step. So the final step here that we're going to talk about is players that have low mint counts but don't really fall into any of the categories we talked about. And these guys, I have a list here of about 30 that are minted between 40,000 and 77,000, which actually brings up an opportunity for them to be bottlenecks. And if you don't believe me, this Isaiah Roby here that I've stacked and I've sold a lot when he actually had bottlenecked, he has 72,000 moments, but if you look at it, it's only 700 for sale right now. 11,000 hidden in packs, 20,000 in the locker room, 31 burned, so there's only 27,000 actually owned. And these ones can bottleneck if none of those moments we talked about in those cases before hit. This could go from $3 easily to $10, $12. To take a look at this over time, we're taking a look at this on Evaluate Market. So on this graph, you can see dots all over the place. These red dots are 30 to 60K serials. This one was selling high teens, $20 last season. I mean, this one bottlenecked a bunch of times. Roby this year, hopefully he gets some chances to start and we could see bottlenecks like this again, but even 60K moments can be bottlenecks. You can see here a ton of sales, and this was getting in the high 20s, 40s. Must have been a pretty good challenge reward for this or something, but these are the ones I like to stack as well that people don't really think of. But some players with even lower mint counts who are really good. One of the best ones is D'Angelo Russell. He has 41,000 total moments, and not that many are actually in circulation either, because he has a 15K here and a 9.9K. Still pretty expensive, $8 here. And his came up a lot last year in challenges, where this one was selling for $40 for his 15K moment. Russell, more than others of these guys I'm going to talk about, his are pretty low circulation because you can see 10,000 out of these 41,000 moments, nearly 1,000 right here just aren't in circulation. Another really good one I'm going to give you guys here is Derek White, who you saw started last game. He has 41,000 moments as well. You'd see a fresh threads and a 9.9K and a 12K, but then he only has one playoff moment, one rare besides that. So not a ton of moments for Derek White either. I mean, there's a ton of these guys that I have on the list. I will give you guys a few more here. Monte Morris should be the starting point guard for the Wizards. His total mint count's just 43,000, could bottleneck. De'Aaron Fox is getting up there in total moments, but still doesn't have a lot compared to some other guys that have 200,000. And you'd be surprised how many players have 200,000 total moments. A lot of them do. But De'Aaron Fox is a guy who averaged 23 points last year. Also, he can get like 7-8 assists per game as well, so he could hit in that challenge. He could be hitting in points. He could hit assists, steals. He's one of the leaders in all those categories, I think. And he has just 75,000 total moments, which is a good amount. But if it's like a tougher challenge where you need the top assist leaders or point leaders, he could easily hit in that and easily be the bottleneck as well. All right, I'll just give you guys a few more here to wrap up the video. Patrick Williams, he has 44,000 total moments and is a starter. DeAndre Ayton, kind of surprisingly, only has 56,000 total moments. Definitely is a starter. Definitely could hit in rebounds or points. Also, Buddy Hield has 58,000, so not that many. Should also start for the Pacers. All right, and then I just want to show you guys what I'm talking about. Some of these star players that have so many moments compared. You might think 75,000, like for De'Aaron Fox, is a lot. Look at a guy, let's go low to high, like Jokic here, 40,000, 35,000. That's 75,000 right here just on his first 2 moments. Then you get a 60K, a 12K, another 10K, a 10K, 8,000, a 15K, even a challenge moment with 6,000, 2,700, 3,500. So there's a ton, and these moments just keep going, and these smaller ones add up as well to the total moments. So I'm thinking it's well over 200,000 for Jokic and other top guys as well in the league. All right, so let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. I think bottleneck videos are pretty interesting, and you can make a lot of money off this still. And there's a good amount of active users. If around 10,000 people are actually completing this first challenge, then I would imagine a lot of people are going to be excited about a Zion challenge tonight. So, and going forward with all these challenges. So definitely take a look at some of these bottlenecks, and it's not any financial advice because there's not a guarantee they're going to hit in a challenge at all this season, any of these guys I talked about, but I'm sure some of them will eventually. If you want to get the full list, definitely subscribe to the channel. Actually join the channel for the spreadsheet membership. I'm going to be trying to put out more spreadsheets, and also check out my last video on So Rare, and I'll catch you guys in another video.